In this special National Hazing Prevention Week episode of the show, we have the honor of sitting down with two extraordinary women, Evelyn Piazza and Rayanne Gruver. Their stories are rooted in unimaginable heartbreak. They both lost sons, Tim and Max, to hazing in 2017. Yet out of that grief has come purpose and determination, and today they lead with courage and conviction, raising awareness, shaping laws, and challenging all of us to build safer communities. So whether you're a fraternity or sorority leader, a coach, a band director, or a loving mom and dad, thanks for joining us in Tapping Play on a very, very important episode of Leaders, Letters, and Legacy. Thanks for joining us as we continue our conversation with Evelyn and Rayanne. We pick up right where we left off. What are some of the programs that you're seeing on campuses that work most effectively when it comes to prevention? Evelyn, can we start with you? And then Rayanne will get your perspective.
Sure. I really think that having the parents of hazing victims speak is what's working. I feel like we can touch people in a way that, say, a paid speaker may not. Just because we are just so genuine. We are an open book and we make people see things in a different light than they would have ordinarily. They put themselves in our shoes. They can picture, that this is their brother or sister. And it just makes it so much more real to have us there potentially breaking down time and time again, because we have such an unnecessary, tremendous loss. And I think we can reach people.
I want to shine a light on a couple of things you just said. How many campuses do you think you guys have spoken to? And about how many students do you think you've spoken to?
I would say over 200,000 students. If you include like town halls during COVID, and probably well over 200 schools.
So easy, a couple 100,000 students. Or how much have you been paid to actually go to any of these campuses? Because I think people are going to be shocked by the answer because they don't understand the mission here fully.
I asked to be reimbursed for my expenses, and anything over and above gets redirected to our foundation.
And periodically, schools will ask for a stipend, or, they'll say, like, here's $1,500 to cover all your costs and whatever is left over.
I don't think that people fully understand that you're not paid speakers, that you're doing this work literally out of the kindness of your heart and trying to do whatever you can to prevent somebody else from going on this parent speaking circuit with you.
Yep.
How do you continue to generate the energy to be able to do this? Because like we said earlier, there are certain days where maybe Evelyn's having a rougher day than Rayanne or vice versa. How do you guys continue to muster up this kind of energy to be able to tell the story, this incredibly painful story, over and over and over? Is that just your sons pushing you and their memory and legacy pushing you? How do you do it?
It definitely has changed over the years. I think in the beginning, we just pushed ourselves to get out there as much as we possibly could to spread the message. And then COVID put a halt to everything. And then it was kind of slow coming back from that. And at that point, I at least took a step back and said, whoa, that was too much. And it took a heavy toll on me. And I think Rayanne did as well. Like, we just didn't want to spread ourselves that thin like we had before, because it is a lot. It is a lot to rip off that Band-Aid every single time and expose your raw feelings. So it's a labor of love for our kids.
Yeah. And we've learned to definitely manage our time, I think, better now than we were at the beginning. Because honestly, like Evelyn said, we couldn't say no to anybody. Like it was just that
Yeah.
we had to get out there. We had to do all this stuff, but we have learned to say no. We have learned to manage our time better. We know our pockets, when there's going to be really, really busy, but then we know to really take that downtime and take care of ourselves. Just really do that self-care in that downtime. And even when we are in the busy section, is you got to I try to keep myself on a very not rigid routine, but like I fly to Arizona tomorrow and, I'm back on, but just kind of still keep our routine going once I get home, like just as best I can and just try to keep things more, I guess, in a way, let's say normal. I hate that, like, but keep it normal.
Well, I love that you're taking that self-care time. Just because you have a date open on your calendar doesn't mean you're available. And so I love that if somebody were to call just because you saw February 14th is open, that doesn't necessarily mean you're available
Yes.
because you've said that no, that's our time. Again, we've talked about this more than once or twice. I don't know how you do it, and I certainly don't understand how you've done it at the clip that you have done it in. So I'm really thankful to hear that you've put a governor on that, so to speak. You've kind of acknowledged, yeah, that was probably a little bit too much, and hopefully through things like this, when people want you to be there, but you can't be there, hopefully this is one more way people can access the story and hear how dangerous and painful hazing can be. So, as we start to wrap up here, if parents and students or coaches and teachers, if they want to learn more, if they want to bring you to their organization or to their campus, Evelyn, we'll start with you. What's the easiest way to get in touch with you so that they could talk about having you come to speak with them or even be available for a phone call? What's the best way for people to reach you?
We are easily reached through the Anti-Hazing Coalition website, the AHC. And both my husband and I are on Facebook, and Rayanne and Steve are on Facebook. So anybody can reach out to us there, or Instagram. So we're easily found. Um,
All right. Well, we'll make sure that the Anti Hazing Coalition's website is in the show notes and on the screen when we talk about that. So thanks for sharing that. Rayanne, how about you guys?
We're all over social media, Instagram and Facebook. And obviously, we have Max's foundation, the Max Gruver Foundation, which we have a great website that my son Alex actually just coded this past year. So we have a new look going on. But obviously, you can go to the Max Gruver, foundation.com. You can reach us right through there. There's a section in there that'll just send basically me an email at our info@maxgruverfoundation.com. You can always reach me at Rayanne at maxgruberfoundation.com any way that you want. And, to come to your organization, to come to your high school, to come to your college, whatever. And then Evelyn and I are always in contact with different things. So, and with the high school, just to mention that with the high school stuff, we, through the Maxis Foundation, we don't charge at all for high school presentations. Even me traveling to Miami, traveling to Texas, I will not charge. Even I don't want to be reimbursed because high schools do not have the funding. And I know that. And I don't want that to stop. So that's a big thing with the Max Gruver Foundation is that we want to be able to take this message wherever it needs to go. But I don't want a school to ever say to us, we just don't have that funding in a public school or a private school or whatever. So I think that's a pretty big thing too, that again, we've got to get the message and the education out there as much as we can. Keep talking about it. Don't stop talking about hazing. It doesn't go away. And then these kids rotate really quickly in those 4 years, every 4 years, So just keep talking about it and talking to your kids about it. And, reach out to us if you have any questions on our platforms for sure.
Love. Thank you for that. Well, one of the things I so love and appreciate about the work that you guys have done and continue to do is you're removing the financial barrier that might have been in place that would have kept a campus or an athletic department from bringing a speaker in. So the fact that you guys have removed that financial barrier there's not an excuse not to have the conversation now. As we wrap up here, would love to go back to where we started and just finish with a closing thought on Max and Tim. So when people hear their stories or they know about them or they even think about them or maybe see a picture of them on social media, what do you want Tim and Max's legacy to be? How do you want people to remember them? Evelyn, can I start with you?
Gosh, as I sit here looking at his pictures above my credenza, he would have done such great things in this world. He was an incredible person. He was such a good friend. He always made time for people. He was a good boyfriend. I have no doubt that he would have been engaged or married by now. It's just such an incredible loss that he's not here. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say. I feel it so deeply that this is not the timeline that we should be living in, that our boys should be here, because it's just so not right.
Thank you, Evelyn. Brianne, how do you want people to remember Max?
Just want, I just think anytime you see a picture of him, or it's just his warmth and that warm smile he had, and that, I mean, seriously, that embrace he always gave you when you walked into a room. He was just a good human being, and goofy as goofy can be. And, but, just very endearing and very inclusive and with everybody, and he made you feel better, just even on the slightest bit of a bad day. You know what I mean? He just had that smile and that warmth to him that, I mean, I miss all the time. And we all do. And even when we were just gone together on a family vacation, I mean, the stories we just tell about him, and we all just start laughing. And, he was a presence, but not like a presence. He was Max. I mean, you just loved him. And, he was just kind. So, I just hope we're doing him proud, and, Max and Tim proud. And, everything we do for them, so that, again, nobody has to suffer the way they suffered, or that, our families have had to suffer. So now we do it for them, because we couldn't be their voices back then, but we sure can be their voices now, because we're some badass mama bears.
Rayanne, say that one more time.
We're just badass mama bears that, just want to make our boys proud, and want to be the voice and be the person that stood up for them when that person was not there that night that could have saved them. We are going to be those people for them and for everybody else now, that hopefully we are preventing this from happening to somebody else. So the boys are worth it. Our boys are worth it.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that you said that may have gotten cut off there was just love our kids. Just love our kids. Young men and women leave their families of origin looking for family of choice. And our job is to treat them like family. And so that when they go home on the holidays or the weekends or whatever, so that they can go home on the weekends or the holidays. And
I just want to thank y'all, because, having seen you in front of students, in front of parents, in front of professionals, in front of volunteers, today I just appreciated that. I feel like I got to see two moms who are just trying to beat people up in the head to say, please pay attention. I appreciate your vulnerability and your ability to just be like, please stop. Stop hazing. Start being who we're supposed to be. We are all in this together. And so if you know a campus or a team or a band or a high school who needs this messaging, and you know that somebody needs help, please let us know. Hazing Prevention Network is another great resource. And I know that they've mentioned the websites of their foundation. So please there is research out there, and as both of them said, this is all of our responsibility to continue to educate and to stop and to bring young men and women to the places of growth and development that we're supposed to help them to be a part of. So thank y'all so much for being here. And Scott?
You guys are tremendous. So grateful for the time y'all spent with us today and for all you continue to do. So just thanks for making your sons proud and for helping families, helping other families not go through the story that you guys have lived. So just grateful for you and grateful for your families and grateful for all you continue to do. So thanks for spending some time with us today. Thank you so much for joining us for this powerful conversation. We are so deeply grateful to Evelyn and Rayanne for their courage in turning heartbreak into awareness, advocacy, and lasting change. Let's honor Tim and Max's legacy by committing ourselves to conversations, choices, and actions that build safer, more compassionate communities. Together, we can ensure that no family endures this kind of loss again. You've been listening to Leaders, Letters, and Legacy. The show is produced by Scott Fussell and hosted by Dr. Marianne Calais and Scott Fussell. Background noise is provided by Bailey, Bentley, and Lincoln. Spousal support provided by Sue and Ree. For more, be sure to follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And to help others find the show, be sure to rate and review the podcast before logging out. Leaders, Letters, and Legacy is an L3 Learning production.